Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar series. We like to do these little lunchbox webinars. My name is Carl Jablonski. I'm the Business Development Manager here over at WildTech. And the reason I'm speaking to you today is because a lot of what I do revolves around partnerships. As you can see by the title of the webinar, we're actually going to be talking about when it makes sense to move beyond your ERP's functionality. And often the recommendation there is to go within your ERP's ecosystem and look at some of the partner solutions, or often referred to as add-ons or bolt-ons or optimizations. All right. So if you're joining us, you probably know who WildTech are, but if you don't, I'll just quickly mention who we are. Essentially, WildTech are end-to-end business management software transformation specialists. We do everything from design or scope, implement, train, and support. And one unique thing about us is we actually operate across multiple different technology stacks, as you can see on your screen, where we offer Microsoft's platforms, Oracle's platforms, SAP's platforms, and Wise, which is kind of a Microsoft platform. But anyway, we're Sydney-based, but we've got local capability. So we actually have most of our functional consultants, support consultants, etc., are spread out across Australia, because we find that it's really nice sometimes to have somebody just down the road, working on your business's systems or working with you and your team. Finally, we have a very unique or different industry-led or industry-focused approach. And as you can see there, we do focus in on several industries. A lot of that has to do with the product space, but also we are working on a few projects in the professional services space and even the financial services space. So continuously working on new projects in different areas, but we definitely focus in on your industry and what is considered industry best practices or industry-specific requirements. So today we're going to be covering a few key things here. We're going to discuss the signs that indicate your business is due for further optimization. We're going to discuss how your business should go about upgrading or looking at these different tools. The process involved in choosing the right partner and the right tools. And then we'll finish with a Q&A. So a lot of it will be around identifying the key points or the key issues that could lead you down the path of looking at these additional third-party solutions or partner solutions. We know ERP brings some significant business benefits, right? We often refer to it as the foundation platform, the thing that takes care of the core of your business. ERP drives efficiency and streamlines complex processes. It provides an integrated snapshot of your business. You can gain real-time insights into your KPIs, your data, essentially. And finally, you can sort of eliminate repetition in business processes and tedious manual tasks. You'll often hear us talk about how Excel is the enemy because it goes against a lot of what we just mentioned there. It's not a single source of truth. It's prone to human error and it requires a lot of manual manipulation. So systems need to grow with your business. What that means is that technology that was sufficient for your business last year may not be sufficient for your business this year. In fact, sometimes whilst you're implementing your ERP system or that base, that strong foundation, new concerns or new challenges might arise or new pain points might jump into the spotlight. Do not fear, it's part of the process. As you solve, the major critical issues, you start to notice those little niggly thorns in your side a little bit more. It's all part of continuously optimizing, continuously moving forward. As we know, growth comes with complexity, or complexity comes with growth. Often the more you grow, the more those little thorns dig in deeper and create more pain. So when does it make sense for a business to go beyond your native ERP's functionality? For today's session, we're going to be focusing on one of our great partners, Expense Manager, just because that gives a little bit more context and substance to the situation that we're talking about. But essentially, companies grow and evolve. And one of the things that is very common is as your business grows, there's more corporate cards, more purchase orders, sometimes more complicated approval processes because there tends to be more complicated approvals and more people that need to actually sign off on certain things. There are certain conditions that lead businesses to upgrade their expense management solution, and some of those on your screen are the most common that we hear about. So compounding the challenges of a growing business are your external factors or the global factors. We just sort of, on the last slide, talked about some of those internal factors. You know, I like to refer to those as things within your sphere of influence. As we've learned since late 2019, sometimes there are completely unpredictable, unexpected global factors. So those are the things that are outside of your sphere of influence. A couple of key things that have happened recently is the annual rate is the highest since June 1990, as you can see. Inflation has increased and will continue to increase the marginal cost of providing certain goods or services. We're still facing challenges in the supply chain due to COVID. You know, China's extended lockdowns, shortages in semiconductor, everything that's happening over in the Ukraine, and part of you tends to sit there, or part of you might sit there and think, what's next? Finally, there's also a notable skills deficit in the market. I know that we're feeling this and a lot of our customers are feeling this. The statistic from the ABS is that 31% of businesses are struggling to find suitable workers. So when you take all of these external factors and you add them to your business growth and the internal factors or the challenges that you might be facing, you start to get into a little bit of a scary situation where things are coming at you thick and fast. So at a certain point, businesses need to go beyond their ERP. It's just the reality. Although the big software vendors such as Oracle and Microsoft spend ridiculous amounts of R&D on improving their ERP systems, they just can't improve everything at the same time. So often what you'll see is partners develop solutions that fit gaps that are not enough of a priority for the big vendors to address directly with R&D, but delivers enough value to the customer base that it makes sense to develop that solution. The reality is some companies are still trying to make enterprise level processes happen with SMB level software. And this can cause more harm than good. It eats into company resources and the bottom line. The reality is that if you're getting by making enterprise level processes happen with SMB level software, you should probably give your team a big pat on the back, because it's probably most likely, based on our experience, got to do with them going above and beyond and them putting in a lot of manual effort to make it happen. So common limitations, right? So a lot of what we're talking about is sort of time-consuming customization. The flexibility of the setup is entirely dependent on the brand of software being used. However, ERPs are not natively designed to be, incredibly effective at in-depth financials. There are leaps and bounds being made by some of the big vendors with their R&D and their investment, but we're still finding that there is a requirement often that goes beyond what they are capable of. And that's when you see partner solutions step in and shine. ERP can be complicated, especially when trying to access additional functionality without the right partner. I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking back to your ERP implementation, how complicated was that process? Just to decide on the solution and to decide on the partner. It's not necessarily different with partner solutions. Obviously, it's less, but it's still the same process. You still want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. So with the implementation of ERP, inefficiency within one department will lead to inefficiency within the others. If one department is affected and becomes inefficient, it may affect the efficiency of other departments. So everything's got a knock-on effect. So sometimes sometimes solving and remedying one issue in one department has got extended effects, which we often refer to as unknown benefits, because you're alleviating pressure there. Just comes back to how everything is connected, and collaboration can sometimes yield results that are unexpected. So ERP isn't always a silver bullet. right? I'd love to, as a salesperson, sit here and tell you, yes, it is. Just buy ERP and all your troubles will go away. But I'm unfortunately way too honest for that. So um, lack of tracking functionality is a key thing here. Generally, ERP won't track aspects like workforce time and productivity. Without time tracking, it's difficult to gauge the true costs of resource use and output because businesses may miss a vital cost that impacts the bottom line. Generally, ERP can support all functions within an organization, but may struggle to manage supplier and customer interaction if you're particularly complex in that area. Once again, we're not talking about any specific ERP platform. A lot of them can excel in these areas and some of them fall short. If you want to know sort of the differences and you're curious about that, reach out to me and I'll talk to you about our shootout process. ERP usually still requires manual invoicing, which can lead to human error, as well as being time sensitive. Once again, it's just one of those areas where they have put in a solid foundation, but haven't optimized beyond that. So while ERP serves a vital role in the business, organizations need to look for opportunities for optimization and expansion in ways that won't cause disruption to business activity. It's as simple as that. You must look beyond ERP when you start to feel pain. Sometimes that process will lead you to actually going with something within your ERP kit bag. But if you're not currently, pain-free, it's probably time to have a conversation with your account manager. There's a big component of account management at play here, but having that conversation opens the door and opens your options. So on to expense manager, right? I'd like to just say quickly, they are one of our most commonly used partners. They are a proactive business spend management platform, which integrates seamlessly with ERP. It unifies your organization's expense and spend management with the simplicity of a single portal view. Often, expense manager is included in our ERP implementations in that phase one. Sometimes it makes more sense to be a phase two. Sometimes it is brought in as the pain gets felt, as I mentioned earlier. Each situation, is different, but we have found more often than not that expense manager or something like it is required for a lot of the main ERP options in the market. So it eliminates costly issues of paper invoices, manual processes, allowing finance teams to improve their bottom line and strategically support business success, right? The less time they're spending on manual processes and making sure that everything's accurate and matches up, the more they can allocate their time to what we like to refer to as revenue generating or revenue increasing activities. So expense manager is proven to cut costs and time by up to 85% in some cases. A big feature of their platform is OCR technology, which is optimal character recognition. This technology makes tasks faster and prevents manual errors. Expense Manager gives people the tools to make purchase orders quickly and with the confidence that they are making informed decisions about their spend. Something that we're constantly talking about is three-way matches or three-way matching. And what this does is it takes POs and matches them to invoices and good receipt notes. So the system checks that all three are aligned for you. The supplier matches, the goods are received, and it's approved for payment. Good to go. It's as simple as that. I know a lot of businesses where that is a critical pain point. This is useful when businesses are having trouble reconciling POs and helps prevent fraud. So there is a safety component there as well. It streamlines your finances, and it does this by simplifying the management of multiple corporate credit cards. The more you've got of those floating around, sometimes the more pain when you're consolidating them all. For approvals, rather than someone logging into the ERP and clicking into the approvals and POs, they are instead alerted in the application. Now, there are some ERP systems which have got similar functionality, but essentially it's just about having that connectivity to your system and to what's happening in your organization so that these processes don't build up. You can access them anytime, anywhere, and on any device. Some solutions don't necessarily have the capability to take a photo of the receipt and then have it be read by your solution and then apply to your expenses, or don't have auto reading, as I just mentioned. Expense Manager is therefore an efficiency improvement for control and reporting. It's funny how this is becoming less of a bells and whistles type of functionality, and it's becoming more and more of a must-have. It's like people are getting used to, that sort of instant ability to just take a quick photo of their receipt. A lot of people don't hang on to paper as much. I know I'm one of those people. So, on our end, we've got OCR as well. So when I'm out and about and I need to quickly put something on the corporate credit card, I take a quick photo and I know that it's at least there. And if I have to change anything on that expense claim or that expense claim, I can with a couple of clicks on my phone. So Expense Manager is also a valuable tool for employees who can download the app and file expense claims from their phone. As I just mentioned, it's brilliant. And who doesn't want to make their employees' life a little bit easier and make them a little bit happier? So there's clear visibility of the expense and the approval workflow from start to finish. It just streamlines it, it makes it easier, and it makes everything a little bit more auditable. You know exactly who's approved what, and you can obviously trace. It's got traceability factors there that are really beneficial to an organization that wants to perhaps tighten their belt a little bit, or just make sure that once again fraud is not an issue. So when we say reap the WildTech benefits, what we're talking about here is we've spent a considerable amount of time and resources building out our partner ecosystem. We vet our partners thoroughly. There's actually a webinar a couple of weeks back where we actually spoke about the partner shootout process, which is very similar to our ERP shootout process. We simply just want to work with the best partners in the market, the ones that match up best to our philosophies and our values, because at the end of the day, once you're a WildTech customer, your happiness and success is our #1 priority. And as a partner working with WildTech, if you are a partner working with us, you're already aware of the benefits. And if you're not, feel free to reach out, because we're constantly looking, much like our customers are constantly looking for, customizations, or sorry, I should say optimizations and extensions to their ERP. We are constantly looking for partners that can offer our customers, real value. So when you work with us, you get TLC because you're using the market-leading ERP solution. What I mean by that is, the reality is there's a lot of partner solutions out there, and Expense Manager, or a key example, will go out of their way to make sure that their product fits well with the top ERP systems. Remember how I mentioned how the big vendors like Oracle and Microsoft simply don't have the time, or simply don't see the value in trying to improve every little thing about their platform, so they leave that up to their partner solutions? Well, it's similar for partner solutions in the market, right? They're going to invest more of their time, more of their resources, making sure that their platform sings beautifully with the bigger players, because let's be honest, that's where the bigger customer base is for them. So once again, by working with us and working with market-leading ERPs, you're getting access to market-leading partner solutions. There are a huge amount of shared customers to learn from. So it's not just a case of being a guinea pig. You're not going to be the first of anything. These are already tried and tested combinations. The integrations are tried and tested. They're managed for hundreds, if not thousands, of customers similar to yours. And once again, those optimizations and improvements are continuously coming. That's essentially all we had to discuss today. So we're going to probably open up now to Q&A. But once again, I did just want to mention that if you are interested in learning more about, looking for those indicators that it's time to look outside of ERP, my recommendation to you would be to discuss it with your account manager. If you don't have an account manager, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm always open to have a chat about this stuff. As I said, a lot of my role actually has to do with partnerships. So I am quite familiar with what's available in the market, and I am quite familiar with which partners are reputable and which solutions tend to be most commonly used. All right. Ali, do we have any questions that came in while we were going through that, or?
We do. There's a couple. I can read them out if you like, or you should have access to them.
Yeah, look, if you could read them out, that'd be great. That way there's a bit of a break from my voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so first of all, every time we try to eliminate spreadsheets, they reappear. People love them. How do we mitigate it from happening?
Yeah, that's a big one. So you've done a whole bunch of projects to remove spreadsheets, and somehow they've crept back in. This happens a lot, right? And it could be due to a number of reasons. So first step is understand why. Why are your employees, why is your team reverting back to spreadsheets? Sometimes it's got to do with the fact that the spreadsheet offers some functionality that your system doesn't. If that's the case, maybe there's an opportunity to add that functionality into the system so that your employees don't feel as required to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. It could also just be a training thing, or a user acceptance thing, or a change management thing. So if the issue is not that the Excel spreadsheet is offering something that your system isn't, then it's probably more about, okay, let's have that conversation with your partner about having a training session or having a change management plan put in place. Sometimes, and this has been the case with a couple of our customers, it's about making the employee understand why it's important for them to be working in that single source of truth. There's a number of ways that Excel spreadsheets can trickle back into your organization. And once again, a lot of that is prevented by looking for gaps in your ERP platform and trying to head off the return of Excel, so to speak. I hope that helped. If not, as I said, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. But yeah, I'd say understand why they're in Excel and then act accordingly.
Great, thank you. Next one is, does Expense Manager connect to Business Central?
Yes, that's the short answer. The reality is yes, there's Expense Manager is a really good example, and one of the reasons that they're our most common, one of our most commonly used partners, is they've spent a lot of time and effort building out integrations with Business Central, but beyond that, many other products in the market as well.
Awesome. So this is the last one we've got, which is we're looking at this sort of functionality. How do we start the process of evaluating options?
Good question. Well, if you're a WildTech customer, reach out to your account manager. As part of our managed services, we are more than happy to work with you and help you, at the very least, bring options to you to evaluate, but we're also more than happy to help you evaluate the partner solutions. Once again, I'd suggest go back to a webinar we did a couple of weeks ago, which would be on our website under resources or assets. We spoke about the partner shootout process. So it's something that we take very seriously, because at the end of the day, whatever solutions you add to your ERP mix can have significant positive impact and also sometimes significant negative impact. I will just mention as well, apologies, back to the last question, Expense Manager, when I said that they work with a lot of products in the market, they actually work with all of the products that are in our kit bag. So that's another sort of reason why they're one of our most commonly used partners. But sorry, got distracted there for a moment. I just remember that I should mention that. Back to the last question. Yeah, reach out to your account manager if you've got one. If you have already got an ERP in place and you're not working with WildTech, feel free to reach out to Expense Manager directly. And finally, if you don't have a solid platform or like a solid cloud ERP in place, I'd say absolutely evaluate this functionality, but please do not forget to put that foundational work in. It's really important that you obviously tackle the critical issues that your business might be facing, but also have that foundation to which you can then grow on with partner solutions. Apologies, I jumped a little bit in between questions there, but hopefully you got your answer. If not, as I said, feel free to shoot me any sort of follow-up questions you may have.
Okay, so I don't think we've got any more questions for you, Carl, unless will come through now. But I think you've answered everything that's come through.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. I think we did run a little bit over maybe, or
We're still within 4 minutes. So well done. We're
perfect.
giving everyone an early break.
Awesome. Well, what we might do then is maybe we cut the recording, but I'll stay on here for another 4 minutes. I've got nothing else to do. So if any other questions pop up, we can have a bit of a conversation that way. Otherwise, alternatively, yes, please just reach out to us directly. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time on the webinar. I hope you found value in it, and can't wait to see you on the next one.